Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates. Today we are celebrating our 3rd year anniversary. Woo! So join us as we revisit our favorite episodes, our least favorite revisits, and so much more, and our 2nd annual Roomie Awards.
Yes.
You don't want to miss it. So grab a seat and get ready to revisit Old Roommates.
Woo-hoo! Our 3rd anniversary. Oh my gosh. Welcome everyone. This is Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And I can't believe it's been 3 years.
I
feel like this is... I feel like I'm just like waking up and being like, hey, Brian, I had this dream that we were doing this podcast for 3 years. It's so bizarre that we've been doing this for 3 years.
I know.
Even just like, oh my God, I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I just feel like we just came up with this idea.
Yeah.
Seriously, like 5 months ago. And we're like,
I can't get over that it's been 3 years.
It
does blow my mind. I think because...
157?
Yeah, something like that.
157 episodes. I think this is our 157th
oh, is it?
episode.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Did you ever think it was going to go on for 3 years?
Well, I mean,
I didn't really think
I
about
didn't think it would fly by as fast. But I knew that, because you and I, we are very dedicated. And I think, like, when something's fun, we do it.
Right.
When it stops being fun, we stop. And so I feel like, and I can think of a few examples in our friendship where it's like, let's do it. Like, we're very gung-ho, and, like, when we're on the same page, we're, like, unstoppable. And so with this, it's like, we've always kept it fun, like, and Christina, I was going to wait till later, but I was just a public thank you to you, because you do so much for this podcast.
Aww.
And your editing, and our amazing sticker.
That's right.
But you do so much editing, and I know it's a lot of work, and it's like, and I think you definitely have much heavier lifting than I do. But I think it's just so much fun, and it's like, and it's funny because even there are times where I'm like, oh God, I still have to watch that movie.
Yeah.
But when we get together. The time just flies.
It's just so fun.
We have a blast, and I just can't get over that people really listen to this.
I still, I know.
And I appreciate every single person who does.
I truly do too. And thank you for that. I don't think I carry a heavier load than you. You do almost all of the writing, and you do a lot of that organization, and also the Instagram posts. Like, I think that's huge. I could never do that on a daily basis. Like, I really couldn't. So I appreciate you thinking that way, but I also feel that you have a very heavy load too. But I think the difference is that it's like you say, like, we're doing this because it's fun. Mm-hmm. And even like the editing and things like that, that's fun to me.
Okay.
And the writing for you is fun, I'm sure.
I love writing the podcast descriptions.
Yeah,
and all
so
this,
I think that's why it doesn't feel like it's a heavy load. It's because we enjoy what we're doing. And I think that's why we work really well together, because we are, doing things that we love to do, and it all kind of works together.
But at the same time, you have taught yourself different you have taught yourself different programs. Like, you didn't take a class. Like,
no.
You've taught yourself all of these things, and here we are 3 years later.
Yes.
It's
so
crazy.
Keep that in mind, listeners. If you hear like a mistake, it's just me, just being human.
Oh my God!
But thank you, and I do want to mention the sticker. You just mentioned it, but I don't think we've announced this yet. But we have a brand new sticker, and it is super exciting. Coinciding. Am I saying that word right? Coinciding.
Coincides.
Coinciding with.
Is coinciding a word?
I don't know.
It coincides with.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing that. With our anniversary.
Yeah.
Our 3-year anniversary. We have this sticker. It's really, really cute. It's a 3-inch round sticker made of, like, if it's a vinyl sticker, it has our logo on it. It has a couple of stick figure people shallow diving.
That's
not
right.
recommended. You should not be shallow diving. But we are shallow diving. And it has, like, our little, like, tagline. And it's really, really cute. And we are giving these away to whoever wants one. So if you would like one, for free.
Just email us.
We're just nice.
oldroommatespod@gmail.com. That's all. We just want to give them away. Christina designed it. She made it. She got them printed. I mean,
you came up with the concept of it, though.
Sure, yes, but I mean, like, you actually like spent a lot of time, you know.
Yes, I made it.
Scheming it up.
I did, yeah, true. But anyway, if you want it, please send us an email, and we're happy to send it out to you. No strings attached. No extra hidden fees. There's no shipping costs.
We're not adding your address to a mailing list.
No,
none of that shit. No, it's just like what we really want is you to put it on your water bottle.
Yeah.
Put it on your notebook.
It's like advertising.
And so when people see it, they're like, "What's that?" Or they just pursue it. So that's why. That's the only secret hidden agenda there, which is no longer hidden because I just said it. So.
Anyways,
let's dive into so much. We have so much stuff to cover, and our Roomie Awards, which are always a blast. So, Christina, take it away.
So we obviously last year we started off with the stats. So let's talk some stats. Did you look at our stats?
I did.
You did. This blows me away. So I'm gonna tell you the top 10 downloads for the year. Should I start with 10 and work our way?
Yeah.
All right. So 10 was episode 114, The Outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9 was episode 111, The Terminator.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Working Girl, episode 110.
Yeah.
Number 7, The Sixth Sense. And that doesn't surprise me. That was such a good episode.
Yeah.
Episode 106. Episode, what am I on? Number 6 is the Alanis Morissette videos.
Yeah.
Which was episode 105. Next was Annie, and that was episode 108.
That surprises me.
That kind of surprised me too, in a way. But it's also what was, so an interesting thought about this was the first episode after our second anniversary. Right. And if you remember correctly, Willy Wonka made the list on our first episode. It was the next episode off of our first anniversary.
Yeah.
And that made the list. So I'm wondering if people are just jazzed up about our podcast after our anniversary.
Jazzed up.
That must be it. So next is Sleepless in Seattle, episode 115. Now the top 3 kind of blew me away. Yeah. I think it blew you away too. Number 3 was the Bon Jovi videos, episode 117. Number 2 was the Backstreet Boys videos, episode 130. Mm-hmm. And the number 1 download, and these are downloads, not plays.
Right. Plays is,
These are downloads. The number 1 download for our second year, Lionel Richie videos. Yeah. Episode number 97, which it was not even in the last 12 months that it was released.
Yeah, and so that means more downloads than anything released in the last year was from the year before.
Is that so crazy?
It's wild.
And I will say, just a little sneak in here, okay? Number 11 is our second anniversary episode.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I mean, I all of these make sense, except I will tell you this. The Terminator surprised me because I remember calling you because I was looking at the stats, and that particular week, like, the Terminator really didn't do well. Yeah. And I think what happened is it didn't do well, but it didn't do well the entire year. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it found its way, it like inched its way up because it was consistently mediocre, but it like almost like a slow and steady wins the race kind of thing, and it's up in the top 10. Because we have other episodes that are like, the Curiosity, they have you should see our download charts. It's like they spike like crazy. And then there is the drop down. But it's like, I've said this a million times in this podcast. Like, I don't ever expect any single person to listen to every episode because...
Except for our husbands.
Because...
Matt, you are required.
Unless you've seen everything, why would you listen to the episode? So, it doesn't... The metrics, I love them, but I don't ever let them affect me personally.
No, it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's just super interesting. Right? And I will tell you, so the countries... I mean, what's really funny is the U.S., it's like, we land in the top 5, but the U.S., I think, is like probably number 5. Like Denmark, Germany, the U.K., and Israel. I mean, like, those are all the top 5. I mean, in America, we only charted in the top 100 once in America the entire year. And that was for The Neverending Story.
That's right.
Which is my birthday episode.
And it's, like, was based in Germany.
Yeah.
Which was like, that was funny to me.
But we talked about that with Denmark. Denmark, we were charting in the top 100 for months this year actually, and then the UK, which I want to give a special shout out to Ryan Levitt because I know he's responsible.
Love Ryan.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ryan. You are the best.
I know he is the best. I know he's responsible for a big chunk of those downloads.
Yes, there's no question.
Yeah, and we love every single person.
He's better than a bot.
And we love every single one of you that has listened to us. We really appreciate it. It means so much to us. All right. So what other stats do you want to talk about? Instagram? No. We're going to go into questions.
We'll go into that. Yeah. Okay. I have a question for you. We have some listener questions, but I do have another question for you quickly. Do you have any favorite moments from our podcast from this year that stand out? Okay. So don't know.
I
have one that's really funny that
I'm going to share something that I've been really going back and forth on if I should share this or not. But I've had some health scares, health issues this year. Two. I run right after the other. My February, March, and April were super exciting. And I don't know if I want to get too into them. I'm on a track I will see that I'm not going to die. I will see the other side of these things. I don't want to bring it too down. If you're that interested, email me. But my point is, in times when I have felt a little like I have to focus on work, but I need something else going on to make me laugh, to take my mind off of other stuff, I have probably myself listened to the Showgirls episode probably 10 times. There's something, and I don't know about you, but there's something where, I find that when we hate something together, I laugh my ass off, and then I play it back. And I've told you this. I've been at the gym, and this is pretty obnoxious, but it's I like listening to us laugh together. Yes. There's something nice about hearing ourselves laugh, and it's just a nice thing. And so
we get very passionate.
We get ridiculously passionate. We get
very passionate.
But I have been at the gym playing the Showgirls episode in my headphones, and I have guffawed. I've been the pa, and I'll pa as I'm on the elliptical or something, or I'm walking down the street. I go my morning walks or whatever, and it's I will pa laughing and with someone walking by me, and it takes. Sometimes I really forget the things we say. Nothing is. We don't have a script. We have a format. We don't have a script.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Showgirls. That whole damn episode. How about you?
Oh my God, that's so funny. And I will say, I think what happens is when we don't like something, sometimes it's a movie that other people really love, right? And so I think sometimes, at least for me, I'm I hate it. I'm going to be honest about it. But when I find out you hate it also, it's such a relief. Yay, we can hate it together. And I think it makes it even more passionate. So I think that's so funny. So my favorite podcast moment.
Yeah.
So to me, this cracks me up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have a specific moment in the Showgirls.
Okay, go on.
It's when you yell whore. I actually wrote. I'm not even reading my notes, and I have notes for this. But it's I wrote. We could make a drinking game every time Christina says "whore" in the Showgirls episode. It's so damn funny.
I love that.
Good. Sorry.
So for me, one of my favorite moments this year is when I was. This isn't even Actually, was it even part of? Oh no, it wasn't. Oh my God, it wasn't even a recorded part of the episode. It was actually, we put it on Patreon.
Okay.
We did put it on Patreon as a bonus, but it was when I brought in a cupcake for you for your birthday. I'm spitting on myself. And I hid it in this room, this room. We're going to
We'll take a picture.
We're going to post. We've been saying this for all year, but we are going to take pictures of this room so you can understand where we're sitting. But I had maneuvered this cupcake behind these little blankets in this little corner that Brian has never ever stepped near. And I'm all proud of myself because I have it out of, it's on a little plate and it's sitting there. And then he comes in and all of a sudden he goes, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to change this. And he literally walks over to the corner and moves this thing around. And he sees it. And he's like, oops, did I just... And I'm what the fuck? I was I've never tried to surprise you. You've never come over
you know what? I hate surprises
and
too. Yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious to me. That was, I always think about that moment. I'm oh my gosh, the one time, it was just really, really funny. But we did put that on Patreon, but it's not part of an episode.
Oh my God. Should we dive into listeners' questions.
Yeah.
So Martin's the first one. Hi, Martin. All right. He wants to know our favorite revisits and least favorite revisits. So I don't. That's all it was said. It said. So I did like the talk, like one that we talk about, and then one in actual watching. So I kind of ruined mine already because I said Showgirls. So in terms of talking it out, my two favorites are Showgirls and The Good Son. Oh my God. I do love when we watch a horror movie. I like when we do horror movies. But The Good Son is great.
Yeah.
The funniest thing, Christina, at one point you say, when she decides to be a mother. You're like, oh my God.
You were talking about like the crash and you were like, I forget what it was. I'm like, no one's playing Uno. Like in the camper, like no one's playing Uno. Like it's like nobody got out of the car.
Yeah.
Like, after
whole, no one gets hurt.
10-car pileup.
Minor injuries were suffered. It's like minor.
The
camper flipped. Oh so and then in terms of the actual watching of the movie, very easy for me. The Sixth Sense and Working Girl.
Oh,
how about
good.
you?
So it's funny. I thought there would be more of a overlap, but no.
Oh, there is.
So
okay.
my favorite revisits.
Yeah.
I have 3 of them listed. The first one was The Commitments.
But do you mean watching or talking?
I think it was just watching
Just
it.
watching.
Yeah,
okay.
that was how I interpreted that question.
Okay.
So yeah, just like watching it, like The Commitments to me was just such a fun movie to watch again because I hadn't watched it in so long and I loved it so much and the music's so good. I just forgot how good it was. And it was just a great revisit and I was so happy it stood the test of time. And then my Showgirls is on here, of course, just because it just all the reasons you've already mentioned.
But but you hated watching it.
But no, but as far as talking about it,
okay,
it was a fun revisit once you realize like how bad it is because it's fun because it was so bad.
I would love to watch that together though.
God,
I would absolutely watch that again.
I would watch that together with you. And then my other one was French Kiss. And I loved revisiting French Kiss because that was one of my birthday choices for you. Mm-hmm. And it was just, it's always like a little bit nerve-wracking when you're like suggesting a movie for somebody that hadn't seen it before, especially someone like you who's going to be very honest about their opinions. And it's a beloved movie. And I was just so happy to like still love it and still be able to like stand by my choice. And because sometimes it's like I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so maybe I won't like it as much. But this one I really loved. What about your least favorite?
Okay, so least favorite, I did this where, so I mean this, as I was watching it, but then later on, I talked about this a little bit this morning, where I wrote Star Wars, and here's why. I love the movie.
Yeah.
But as a revisit, I felt like I couldn't really do it justice because I loved it so much as a little kid. But I am not a huge fan of the franchise as a whole.
Right.
I haven't seen 70% of the movies. And for me, I don't really think I added true, like, value with my perspective. My perspective is I was a little kid and I loved Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm watching it again and I don't know. I think, and to be honest, I mentioned to you this morning, I was like, I forgot we even, why? Because I was going through the list.
Yeah.
And I was like, picking my least favorite. I'm like, I think Star Wars, because it's I barely remember talking about it.
Have you listened to it since?
No.
You should listen to it again.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's just your memory of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you added some value to it.
Yeah, that was, but yeah, I think out of everything, I mean, I could have said, different, I mean, there's a handful of things that we ripped apart that I could say, but I was like, Star Wars, I think was like, yeah, I mean, it's such a long movie, and I know there's some hardcore franchise fans where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But how about you?
Mine, I didn't even have to think about it. My least favorite was One Day at a Time.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That surprises me. Why?
Because it was such a disappointment. Because I had such fond memories of this show. It was like a part of my childhood.
Yeah.
And I was actually looking forward to revisiting it. And it was so like loud and the acting wasn't great. And it just, I mean, everything was like in one scene. It was like almost in real time the way they did everything, and it was very much a big disappointment. And it was disappointing in the rewatch, but then it was also disappointing, and just like it like tainted my memories. So.
Wow, it's funny because I don't remember you hating it that much in the episode.
I just remember it just being so
loud. Yep.
Yeah.
That live studio audience will get you every time.
Mackenzie. Oh, my God.
Next question. Christina, do you want to tackle this one?
Oh, yes. So this is from Angela. Thank you, Angela, for listening. This question is interesting. It's what revisits, what were some of your revisits that surprised you?
This was very easy for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, but you answer first.
So I have two.
Yeah, me too.
The first one was the Blair Witch Project.
Okay, that was recent.
And yes, it was episode 156.
Okay.
And it surprised me because it really held up for me. And a lot of these horror movies don't.
Yeah.
They just don't. They I don't know. They're just not as scary or they're predictable. And this one, I think because of the format, it really helped it to age.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still scary to me. And I think maybe going in it, I wasn't sure I was going to, I had lower expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And it just surpassed my expectations. So I was super excited and afterwards, I'm like, wow, this was really good. And I've mentioned it to so many people since then. I'm like, you've got to watch the Blair Witch Project. It's still so good. So that one surprised me for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just a moment. Can I tell my moment and then you can tell your answer?
Yeah.
The moment that surprised me was in Psycho.
Okay.
When Ted Knight appeared at the end. I was like, what? Was that Ted Knight? That was so fun.
Yeah.
That was a really fun surprise.
That's a good one. So mine, I have two. And what's funny is they both fall under both of our favorite movies that we realized during the episode.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Baby Boom.
Oh,
and I think what surprised me is that when I thought about Baby Boom before I revisited it, is that I was like, oh, it's such a cute movie. That's such a cute movie. It's one of my favorite movies, but it's a cute movie.
Cute, yeah.
It's just cute. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, you know what? This is solid. This is really funny. And Diane Keaton is excellent in this movie.
So
I think she's
good.
better in Baby Boom than she is in Annie Hall, quite frankly. Now, the other thing is that when I watched, I didn't talk about this on the episode we did, but it's what captured me and surprised me was with Baby Boom when you realize that she realizes that New York is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in New York for 14 years, and it's New York. My friends in New York, some have moved away, some have stayed, and we've talked about this in the past, where it's New York will trick you into thinking this is the only way to live your life. Mm-hmm. You have to work crazy hours. You have to be on the run. You have to have two different interests and do all these things and strive. And it's but then you move somewhere else, and you're like, oh.
Oh, look at that.
That was all optional. New York is optional. I think with J.C. Wyatt, played by Diane Keaton, it's this subliminal little message that it's you do that to yourself. You put yourself through that. And I think that was kind of a surprise for me to see that. And of course, when I saw Baby Boom the first time around, and for several times, I was a kid. Yeah. So I never would have connected that. But now it's to have that experience, it's oh my God, it's a really strong film. And then Raising Arizona.
Oh,
and I just think because it's it still felt so fresh. I'm oh, this is going to feel a little cheesy and dated and too quirky. And I'm telling you, from pressing play, Raising Arizona feels fresh. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
And what's funny, both of those, I think we were both surprised to learn that we both
love
were their
them.
favorite movies. Yeah. Funny. So funny. Do you want to take the next question?
Sure.
A question we get all the time.
This is from Will. Hi, Will. So, what are the most requested episodes you haven't done yet? And this is a great question, Will, because we are going to be watching one of the most requested things we've ever received. Mm-hmm. Coming up in September.
Yes.
We're going to be revisiting The Breakfast Club.
Woo-hoo!
Finally. Yep. And then the other big one is The Goonies, but that has to wait because you, Christina, have not seen The Goonies.
No, I have not.
But I think I'm going to have to do that for my birthday one in February.
You're going to have to. I'm dying to see it, especially with Stranger Things and everything. I feel like it's very similar to Stranger Things.
Oh my God.
The other request that I've heard was Ghost. And that's another another episode that we're going to be doing pretty soon, in September. We should mention, this is a good spot to mention, we are actually going to be taking a little bit of a break.
Yes.
for the first time in 3 years, we are taking a couple of weeks off. Nothing, it's like 3 weeks or something. We will still be uploading things onto Patreon.
Yeah.
For those patrons out there, patreon.com/oldroommates, including a BuzzFeed quiz. Did I say that right? BuzzFeed. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I can't speak today. That is to determine if you are a Christina or a Brian. So feel free to take that quiz and let us know if you're a Christina or a Brian. So that's going to be on patreon.com/oldroommates. But we are going to take just a few weeks off, and we will resume in September. September, is it 3rd or 6th? Whatever that Tuesday is.
Oh God, I don't even know.
Hold on, I'm gonna look at the calendar.
Okay.
And that's the day we'll be doing. It's the 6th, September 6th.
Yeah.
We'll be doing the Breakfast Club.
It's also a good chance to get caught up on all of our old
Exactly.
episodes.
So, and one of the things I am actually going to be putting up on Patreon too, and maybe even our Facebook page too. I'll put it on the Facebook page. It's just a list of all of our episodes because we have so many. And I know when you go to like Apple Music or something, it shows you 10 and you can be like 10 more and then 10 more. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I'm going to make a list of all of the movies that we've done or we have revisited. And then we can just look at a glance and see if there's any that might speak to you, and you can catch up on some of the ones that you haven't listened to or whatever.
Yes.
So there, just to let you know that. So
I feel like a little public service announcement.
Yeah, right. I just don't want them to miss us.
No,
I
know.
We're gone.
Yeah, don't think we're definitely coming back.
No, we will be back.
Oh, so should we? Is that all? I think that was it, right? For
yeah.
Our listener viewer questions. So top Instagram posts. So we're pretty active on Instagram, and the big 3, and this is super weird because they're all from the 70s, the 1970s content.
Oh my gosh, how funny!
The number 3, the top most liked Instagram post was about One Day at a Time. Sorry, Christina.
Was it a poll?
No. It was the announcement of the episode. But people were really enthused about it. Yeah. So they gave it a lot of love. People were commenting like crazy.
I was very enthused about it
too. Number 2 most popular Instagram post for us was Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, funny.
100 likes. And then the biggest one by a long shot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so really quick. One Day at a Time is episode 148.
Oh, right.
Smoking the Bandit is episode 152. Now, the biggest, most beloved Instagram post of our entire year, Joyce DeWitt's birthday.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah. Like by a stretch. And
wow, good for her.
From episode 32, we revisited Three's Company, so we gave Joyce DeWitt a shout out on Instagram for all she had done for the American sitcom in the 70s,
happy.
but all 70s stuff. Super weird.
All 70s stuff.
You would not expect, because we're on Instagram, we're in our 50s, and it's like, but I don't know. For some reason, I just don't think. I wouldn't imagine people that appreciate the 70s, or that many people that appreciate the 70s, are on Instagram.
You think they're too old? Is that what it is?
Well,
you just lost all our
No, it's not
now.
what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. Like, I think about, I don't know. People I know, my friends are in their 50s, are on Instagram, but they're not active. Mm-hmm. They're not going on liking posts and stuff. I am, because I'm crazy. But
can I tell you what my favorite Instagram posts are? Because you do such a great job with these posts. They just make me so happy. There was, I have 2. One of them was the Mother's Day post, and you just did all these pictures of, like, the mothers from some of the revisits that we did. Like, Joan Crawford is there. Norman from Psycho was a picture. Mary Tyler Moore was there on Ordinary People. And it just made me smile. I'm just like, oh, my gosh, I love it. All these bad moms. I mean, Mrs. Voorhees, Jason Voorhees' mom. Made me laugh. But my favorite was it was the Christmas episode with you had a picture of Jingle and Jangle.
Yes.
From A Year Without a Santa Claus, and underneath you had Noel Fielding.
Yep.
Fielding
and Matt Lucas.
And
I wrote
you
same energy.
The same energy. Yeah. And Matt Lucas actually liked it.
Yeah.
So and I don't like it just because he liked it. I mean, kind of, but I thought that was so brilliant. And it was so accurate. I think it was so damn funny. So anybody who's watched the British Beer Company.
Oh my God. British Baking Show.
British Baking Show. Will totally get it. But I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
I did another one with Jamie Dornan from Barb and Star kicking his feet in the sand, and Jane Fonda from On Golden Pond. And they're in the same exact pose. It's so cute.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So creative, Brian.
Oh, I try.
So let's talk about Patreon for a second.
Yes.
We just talked about it a little bit, but I was curious to you because we have so many different things on there, and we have different types of things that we've written and different, lots of different types of posts. There's audios, there's videos, there's written up things, there's personal stuff, there's movie stuff. Do you have any favorite posts that we've done on Patreon?
I do, because I loved when we did the Thanksgiving movies, because there's no Thanksgiving movies.
Oh my God,
so
I love
it's like
that too.
Movies to watch at Thanksgiving. I think we actually are doing a good service to that.
I think so too.
I loved our wine tasting. I thought that was really funny.
Oh my God, the wine tasting.
And I'm just going to go back to the well again and say the Showgirls dramatic reading.
Oh my God.
Those are my favorite.
All of those
favorites.
were really, really fun. I agree. The wine tasting was great.
Mm-hmm.
And the Showgirl script was so damn funny. Like, if you guys have not listened to this, you're really missing out. Go to patreon.com/oldmermaids. Join for like $2 and just listen to that.
And then drop it.
If you want. I don't care. But it's worth the $2 to listen to this dramatic reading of Brian and myself. I thought it was really, really fun. That was actually one of my favorite posts as well. Yeah. That's Showgirls was episode 144, by the way.
Okay, cool.
My other favorite, of course, we have the bonus episodes, which are always interesting. But my other favorite was we wrote up. It was the Freaky Friday episode.
Oh my God!
So Freaky Friday was episode number 146, and we wrote up like a fictional short story about me waking up in Brian's body and Brian waking up in my body. And it was not only was it really fun to read, but it was also really fun to write and kind of go there. I haven't done something creatively that way in a long time. So
Rob, Mr. Cella, said that he liked them.
Oh,
he's like, I like reading them.
Oh, nice, thank you. And then my other favorite was recently we did the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Oh my God. I listen. I feel very conflicted about this.
Listen. I sent this to you for your approval.
No, I know you absolutely did. Yeah.
So it was Blair Witch was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Episode 156.
Yeah.
And so this must be 158. Okay, you're right. Anyway, so as our bonus content, we took I edited down 3 hours of footage from our Quebec trip, and we posted it as found footage.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, it's probably just entertainment for me because it was so damn funny. And we're so freaky. We are such weirdos.
We are so weird.
We're dressing up in costumes. We went to a circus.
Yeah.
And we were putting on costumes.
Yeah.
And we're in this little bed and breakfast type of thing in the basement of this little house in Quebec.
Yeah.
And it's from we're complaining about the broken lock on the door, and we didn't have any towels. And
well, we also, the radio was almost busted, so we ended up buying CDs, or did we have CDs with us? And we were just and at one point I'm doing a musical interpretive dance from a distance by Bette Midler.
So funny.
I mean, we are out of our minds in this video. And
it's free, responsibilities. This is
totally,
truly what it is. We had no responsibilities whatsoever.
I watched it, and I think you did a great job editing. But I always kept wondering, am I liking this, or am I watching this because I'm in it? And if I'm not in it, would I think? And I think we were nuts. Yeah,
we're 100% nuts. So go to patreon.com/oldmermaids. There's a lot of stuff up there, but those things were really, really good. So cool. So funny.
Is it time?
It's almost time. I wanted to say one thing. We have that vault. We have our magical vault of movies. So when music videos. So when we do our music videos, we have 2 that we compare, and then we have a third one on Patreon, but we don't even count that into our vault. But we revisit it, and then we talk about which one we can save. We can only save 1 video per episode. And then we put it in our imaginary vault.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know all of the wonderful videos we have in our vault. We have quite a few now.
Yeah.
So starting from the beginning, we have Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar. We're Not Gonna Take It. Take on Me. Sledgehammer. again, very begrudgingly. We have Careless Whisper and Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham because we couldn't decide on a winner. Right. And then the same with Huey Lewis in the News. I wanted to drug and If This Is It because we couldn't decide between those two either. We have We Are the World, Head Over Heels by the Go-Go's, Eat It by Weird Al, Express Yourself, Sometimes by Britney, Hello by Lionel Richie, obviously, since it's our #1 download for the year. You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette, I'll Be There For You, Bon Jovi, Everybody, Backstreet's Back, All Right by Backstreet Boys, Rio by Duran Duran, and To Become One.
Oh my God. I have to make a Spotify playlist for those. You keep telling me and I keep forgetting. I'll do it.
Yes,
though.
I think so too. I think
that's a great soundtrack.
It is.
It's like a nice little party it's a party soundtrack.
That's pretty good.
Except for Hello, I guess.
Well, you can leave Sledgehammer on.
Well, I will say, you know my sudden fascination with Dave Matthews Band.
Yes.
He covers that in almost every single concert.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
laugh.
Do
Christina, I do laugh every single time.
Do you like it better?
No.
No?
No, I mean...
What was the video, more or less, that we didn't like?
The video, no, actually it's the opposite. The video, I liked. It's really, I'm just not crazy about that song.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's fine. But I actually prefer the Dave Matthews version to the Peter Gabriel version.
And then the only other thing that's in the vault is our match game show. We did a game show thing.
Oh, right.
We should do that again.
Yeah.
We should do game shows.
Yeah, we should do that.
We did that one year, and I think it was like year 2. So it was Pyramid versus Match Game, and Match Game won. So Match Game is in there as well. So anyway, but yeah, Brian.
Now it's time.
Oh my God, the moment we've all been waiting for, you guys.
It's time for our 2nd annual Roomie Awards. This is when we take a look back to the last 12 months of our revisits and honor and dishonor certain selections. So get ready for the awards. They begin.
Second annual Roomie Awards.
Christina, you look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Who are you wearing?
I am wearing Kohl's.
Nice.
Yes, and you, Brian?
I am wearing J. Crew.
Ooh.
And Walmart.
Is that an upcoming designer?
Walmart flip-flops, J. Crew shorts, and I don't even know where this t-shirt is from.
Love it. Brian, this is quickly becoming my favorite part of the year.
Oh my gosh.
Going over these Roomie Awards.
Yes.
So what we have done is we have 11 categories this year. You can get a bonus sticker if you can guess which category is different from last year, I guess, right? We have written down our answers. I have put mine in unsealed envelopes because Brian had a bit of a problem with the sealed part last year. And he's just folded his over. It's
consistent.
Got rid of...
It's what I did last year, though.
You did
I
this
swear to God, I have pictures of them. I have pictures of them.
All right, whatever. Anyway, so we have just exchanged them, and we are going to go through the categories. And
yes, our first category is probably one of the most coveted categories, Best Acting Performance Upon Rewatch. Now, this is something where it could be a performance you didn't think much of the first time around, or something that has stood the test of time. Mm-hmm. How Christina and I went about picking these, we don't know, because we don't know who we picked. So Christina has my envelope. I have Christina's. Best Acting Performance. Do you want me to read yours first?
Sure.
Christina's award for Best Acting Performance goes to Glenn Close, Dangerous Liaison, episode 109. Now, Christina did something a little dubious here. She has...
I do. I have a bunch of stuff.
On each one?
No, okay. No. I have a lot of runner-ups. This is the only one with an honorable mention.
Okay, so Christina's runner-up is Barbara Harris in Freaky Friday. That's a great choice. And honorable mention, Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke and I almost said Beetlejuice and Before Sunrise.
Yeah, so Glenn Close was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She was so good. The facial expressions, the emotions, all of that. I didn't even think about it. It was like just absolutely my choice. Barbara Harris, I thought she did an excellent job being was it supposed to be 12-year-old? I forget now.
Yeah, 13, 12,
13 or whatever.
yeah.
The reason why I did an honorable mention to Julie and Ethan is because throughout the whole movie, I thought it was very much improvised. Yeah. But we later found out that it was not improvised. Yeah. And the fact that it seemed so improvised natural. And so natural, it was really testament. All right, let's see what Brian's best acting performance is.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm going to do the... Do I have it set up on that drum roll? Okay. Hold on.
And I do have a runner-up, but it's not written down there.
Moira Kelly from The Cutting Edge. I'm not surprised. Episode 131.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all.
So really quick, my runner-up was Matt Dillon in The Outsiders.
Oh,
it was really tough to decide. But Moira, because... So what I did is, like, I thought of Mary Tyler Moore, Ordinary People.
Yes.
Diane Keaton, Baby Boom. Moira Kelly, and then Matt Dillon. And so what I did is I looked on Wikipedia, I looked at all the awards they've won throughout their careers for different things. Mm-hmm. Moira has been very underappreciated for the work she's done, and I wanted to give her that award. I think she is... It's really tough because she has to be so unlikable.
Yes.
And likable.
And she did a great job.
And you have to care about this unlikable character. And she's rude, and she's mean, and yet you completely want her to win.
Yes.
You want her to achieve everything she wants to achieve. And that's tough to do. And I think it is a great performance. You see her drunk, you see her this, you see her that. And then Matt Dillon, I mean, he's a full character. He is funny. He's tragic.
Well, and he's very similar because he's an unlikable character that's likable.
Right. That's a good point.
That's so funny, Brian.
Yep. And actually, Mary Tyler Moore, the same thing. She's unlikable, but you care about her. So I think it's a tough thing to do. And I think Moira Kelly, and I think it's such an underrated performance. It's such a great movie.
That's great. Yeah. That's awesome. All right, our next category is the Didn't Age Well
and
award.
Christina's award for the Roomie Award for Didn't Age Well. Christina's giving her award to... I knew it. Smokey and the Bandit, episode 152. Now, your runner-up, Weekend at Bernie's, 155. Yes. So, Smokey and the Bandit, Christina, do tell.
Smokey and the Bandit was it was an eye-opening experience for me. They are so sexist and they are so racist in this whole movie, from calling people beavers and just, I mean, everything's about the looks and super racist comments about being surprised that a black person is a police chief. It was just really off-putting to me. I didn't think it aged well at all. I didn't. It didn't bother you as much as it bothered me, I don't think.
No, because it's like I take it from the source, and these are awful characters.
Yeah.
So,
but Burt Reynolds isn't supposed to be an awful character. He's like the star of the whole movie.
He's a criminal.
But he's supposed
to be... He's a petty thief.
But he's the star of... He is not portrayed in the movie as a bad person. You're rooting for him. You're supposed to root for him in this movie.
Supposed to. I enjoyed the movie because I didn't take it at all seriously.
Right.
Christina,
do you want to Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay, good.
No, what? Were you going to ask?
Oh, no, I was going to say, I hear you on Smokey and the Bandit, and I could say exactly what you said for mine.
And it is, didn't age well, is Saturday Night Fever.
How quickly we forget. Christina, the N-word is flying.
Episode 132. Oh, yeah.
There is racism everywhere. Mm-hmm. Women are criticized for being quote-unquote fat. The language.
Oh.
Christina, how about the touching scene where Donna Prescott is repeatedly raped in the back of a car?
Yeah, that did not age well.
So, that didn't age well at all, and it was really jolting to me because I thought John Travolta is so good in it, and yet it was almost too much to get on board with. And doesn't he threaten to punch one of them, or something? He threatens the woman at the end. Like,
he's a terrible character.
Oh my god!
And to think that when people think about John Travolta, they think, "Oh, Saturday Night Fever,
sexy and fun and dancey."
Awesome.
It's a dance movie.
without revisiting it.
Yeah, and it's like, suicide.
Yeah.
It's, poor Donna Pescow.
Pescow. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so didn't age well, not at all.
All right, our next Roomie award
It's one of our favorite categories, I think. One of mine.
The craziest rating for a movie.
So this is the MPAA rating is what we mean. And Christina's award goes to I Am Gobsmacked.
Are you?
Stand By Me. So it's an R. She believes it should be rated PG-13, episode 134. Mm-hmm. The runner-up is Romy and Michelle. Christina, we have the same runner-up, but let's talk about Stand By Me.
Yeah, so Stand By Me, I remember watching it and being like, why is this an R-rated movie? Because really watching it now, it's not that bad. I mean, they see a dead body. Even the dead body isn't that bad for as far as today's standards.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of violence, but I mean, for the most part, it's really not that bad.
Yeah. So
the fact that it was like rated R, I still was like, what? Why did they ever rate it R? Even back then, I'm like, it probably, and I think we've talked about this before with ratings, and like PG-13 hadn't been invented yet or whatever, so It was either PG or R, and I get that. Like, it's probably not going to be a PG because they're talking about a dead body and things, but it was just surprising to me that it was an R.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like there's like the puke. I mean, there's like things like, I mean, we do see kids in jeopardy with like, and the kid has a knife held up to his throat. There's a lot of F-bombs. There's there's a suicide, things and like the puking. So it's like, yeah, I mean, but I agree with you. But I when I thought of this, so we have the same runner-up. So meaning Romy and Michelle was an R. We thought it should be probably even PG at this point.
Yes.
But so why don't you open mine?
All right, here comes Brian's craziest rating. Ooh, hold on, I'm gonna do this at the same time. I have to open it. It is Gremlins.
Yes.
So this was a very close one for me. I almost put Gremlins down for this, because we talked about the violence and things like that. But why don't you talk?
Yeah, I mean the microwave murder. The stabbing of the gremlin. And I'm going to be honest, through my middle-age lens, and I don't know if I said this in that episode, but I think the glee that mother has stabbing the gremlin in its chest on the counter is a bit, it's just really unsettling. And she's supposed to be like the good guy. And also the Santa Claus story. You're tricking kids into seeing this PG movie, and they're going to find out the truth about Santa Claus. Now, it blows my mind. It's completely like the gremlin killings are graphic, even when it melts in the light, and it's really gross.
Yeah,
and I don't
really
think
gross.
PG was the wrong
And this was
choice.
one of the movies that
created the PG-13.
PG-13 movies happen
because
it was such an outrage. All right, our next
category best accent.
All right,
Christina's Roomie Award goes to. Nice pick.
Nice, thank you.
Kevin Kline, French Kiss.
Oh my God,
yeah.
I love him. He can do no wrong in my eyes. I felt like his accent was perfect.
That's episode 118.
118.
That's a great pick.
Thank you.
Christina, you can open mine.
All right, let's hear Brian's. We haven't had a
no matches
yet.
Yeah.
Our best accent is Holly Hunter in Raising Arizona. Excellent pick. Episode 116.
My fiance left me. Honestly, my runner-up is everyone else in Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
That's
and it lends itself so well to the craziness.
It's so good. She was really, that was a great accent. That's a great pick.
All right, so now we get negative. I'm excited to see this one.
We're getting a few negatives in here. Yep.
Category, the biggest waste of time.
Yeah. Our time is valuable, people.
It is. We have a lot to watch.
Is valuable. Okay.
Christina's pick is. Christina, those are really. These are really stuck in there.
Oh, now you're complaining about them.
Enough. Stop. All right, Christina. Wow, we've seen this name before. Weekend at Bernie's, episode 155.
I will never get that.
The biggest waste of time.
1,000%. That movie was the biggest waste of my life. Seriously, I don't even care. It was 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It was too long.
Well, why don't you open mine? We did not match.
We did not match. All right, Brian's biggest waste of time. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Christina, I played it all back in my mind. I played the episode.
Wowza, episode 123.
I'll tell you why.
An American classic.
Yeah, but you know what? The plot is like borderline invisible. They had 7 years to work on this thing.
Oh,
at one point in that episode, we say Patty's a bitch. Okay?
Patty was terrible.
And there's so much negativity and like fake, like, and I said in the episode, anytime they run out of a plot, they just throw in some fake violence.
Yeah.
And I remember really being like, oh my God, this is boring as hell. Like, and it's like, I can't even imagine a kid even enjoying this.
And remember, Lucy isn't in it.
Lucy's not even in it.
And that was, that is interesting. Wow.
Sorry, Chuck. All right.
Chuck.
The next one is best music video
Best
of the
music
past
video.
12 months that we've revisited. Christina's pick is I'll Be There For You, Bon Jovi.
These 5 words I swear.
The Bon Jovi episode is 117 for those at home. Why, Christina?
I really love that video. I really, we talked a lot about, how his videos are all similar, but I felt like this one really stood out because it had a lot of, like, behind the scenes stuff, and it was just, I don't know, I just thought it was really great. I really liked it a lot.
Nice.
So let's hear what Brian has to say. Best music video. To Become One.
Yeah, and Christina, you convinced me of this because
interesting.
In that episode you said...
Episode 154, by the way.
Yep. You said, it's interesting because we watched Duran Duran, Bon Jovi, Backstreet Boys, and so many others. But, oh!
I guess it's ad time on my drum roll. Okay, that's fine.
And you said it's nice because they're in different formations, configurations, and close-ups. And I was like, you know what? I like it. And I also just think, because we know that they did the lip sync at double speed so that the fan would look cool when it blew their hair and wardrobe.
Yes, that was a cool effect.
It was a nice touch.
Cool effect.
I think out of everything we watched this year, the last 12 months, that's the best video for me.
Nice. I love that.
All right, we're getting negative. And this is something that I asked Christina about. I was like, should we do that? Because I have found the last 12 months we've been doing a lot of quoting.
Yes.
And we're paying a lot more attention to scripts and like things that characters are saying. And so we have the award for the worst line of dialogue out of all of last year's revisits.
All right, let's see if I can stand up that.
Christina's award goes to...
So I know I didn't write it all down.
She didn't write down the dialogue, but
I have it written down.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have
so it's
it written down.
Rain Man. Rain Man.
So when Susanna is in the elevator with Raymond and basically sexually assaults him, she says, "Open your mouth." I'm gonna try to do the accent.
Okay, all right.
Open. Yeah, like this. Like you were tasting something very good and very sweet. I don't know what kind of accent I'm doing right now. Soft. Like this. Close your eyes. It's okay, Ray. How was that?
Oh.
And he said, what? Then we did it right.
Oh.
It makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
It really makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
That one scene, I feel like it ruined the whole entire movie for me.
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole movie.
It was a bad judgment call. Yeah.
Unnecessary. She's like a predator on this innocent man with the mentality of like a young child.
Yeah, and I will say, I said it in that episode, and I'll say it again, and this conversation might even come up again later on in this episode. That imagine if the genders were reversed.
Right.
And then and a man was saying, yeah, open your mouth. Open your mouth.
Right.
To a young child. To a woman with
with mental challenges.
Yeah. I mean it's terrible.
So bad. Did you read my runner-up?
The runner-up is almost everything from Saturday Night Fever.
Yes.
I mean that's perfect.
I just couldn't even pinpoint
There is not there's women, it's Latinos, it's people of color, it's blacks, gays, they go after it's vicious.
It is vicious.
So you can open mine.
Oh, right. So Brian's worst line of dialogue. I had a feeling it would be Showgirls. It must be weird not having guys come on you. I almost put this. I'm not even kidding you. But I felt like I had talked about...
But here's why.
Episode 144, by the way.
It's a movie. It is an embarrassment of riches for bad dialogue in that movie. But here's why that line sticks out.
God.
Because he's talking about the cheetah. And Christina, we know, and anyone that watches Showgirls knows, you're not allowed to ejaculate on anyone at the cheetah. So this line is bullshit. He's just being a jerk. It makes no sense at all. It's stupid. And
for that line to win out on all the dialogue in Showgirls,
my runner-up
really says something.
My runner-up, and you, I'm sure you can guess it. We could have had LaToya.
Oh God,
Suzanne.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Oh my God, so good, so
all
good.
Right. Our next category is the biggest middle-aged lens moment. This is something meaning we have seen it before, but this time around it really hits different.
Yeah, it really makes you feel like a middle-aged person, I'll tell you that.
Christina's award goes to, her roomie goes to Gremlins.
Yes.
Episode 126.
Gremlins. The reason why I'm seeing, and I don't know if you remember this correctly or not, but when we were revisiting Gremlins, we looked at the Gremlins a little differently. Like, they were
having fun.
They were having fun. They were a bit mischievous, but they weren't trying to cause any problems.
They weren't flat out
they
murdering
were hungry.
people.
They needed food.
Yeah.
They were playing. They wanted to play music. They were having a good time. They were in the living room. They were dancing around to the music.
Yeah.
And then
she
this
walks
woman
in and
comes
ruins
in
it. Yeah.
and fucking goes on a spree.
It's a massacre.
A
kitchen
massacre.
She's a real kitchen nightmare. It is a kitchen massacre. She is putting them in the blender.
Yeah.
It's gratuitous.
It is terrible.
Let them eat the batter in the blender, you bitch.
They were not causing any problems except for maybe making a mess, and that was it.
Yeah, God forbid.
And at this point in time, she didn't even know they were dangerous.
They were playing Christmas carols, for God's sake, on the radio.
They were
singing.
So for me, looking at it like, oh my gosh,
I hate that
little
whole
things
scene.
are not even doing anything wrong, and she comes barreling in.
Yep.
Yep.
She was the catalyst for the real bad behavior.
Yes.
They got scared and started defending themselves.
Of course.
I blame the mother of Gremlins on that behavior.
Yep.
Your runner-up, though, this is interesting. I think I know where you're going with this. But your runner-up is Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes.
Episode 115.
Seattle, I felt like, for a variety of reasons, but number one was his treatment of his child.
Oh, my God.
And how selfish he was. Tom Hanks. I mean, everyone loves Tom Hanks, but this character was not a good character. And I think people think about it like, oh, it's so romantic, and they were so meant to be together. Did you not notice how he's treating his child? His child is mourning his mother who has died, and he doesn't even think about his child. He just thinks about himself. And it was really eye-opening.
Oh,
and
I'm going to go have sex.
That's right.
Oh, my God. You say this to a child,
like
really?
8 years old.
Oh, my God.
And then the other part of this whole thing was the relationship with, I almost called her Sally, but she wasn't Sally.
No.
Meg Ryan's character.
Yeah.
She
Annie.
had Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had a really good thing going with her fiance.
Yeah.
They had a lot in common.
They were very similar.
They really respectful of each other. They got it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, she's looking elsewhere at this weird man who hasn't gotten over his wife, and it was like on a radio show.
Well, the whole thing is, I want to be loved like that. It's like, well, guess what? You never will be.
Until you're
dead.
Until you're dead. But the fact that she left him, it was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, common sense now, looking at it, like, no, you belong with this other guy.
Yeah.
You don't belong with him. This is irresponsible, and I don't think you guys have anything in common. Nobody knows because you've never had even 5 minutes together.
And it's a bummer because I love Nora Ephron. I've read almost every word she's ever written in a book. But it's like, it bums me out because it's like, there's just some, like, I don't know, some like misunderstood emotional context there that is not being really, it's not being thought through because it really doesn't make sense when you think about the love that Annie is looking for. What is impossible to achieve unless, like you said, you're dead. Anyway,
All right. So your biggest midlife. Wait.
Middle age.
Middle-aged lens
Yes.
moment is the sexual assault on Raymond in an elevator in Rayman.
Absolutely. We've already talked
We've
enough
already
about it.
talked about it, episode 125. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
I just wrote consent much.
Right?
So awful. It's an awful scene.
It is an awful scene.
But of course, I actually think that's one of the scenes they played during the Oscars that year that movie was nominated. So, so no one, this clicked to no one, and maybe it wouldn't have until nowadays. But it's a terrible scene.
Yeah.
I will say my runner-up is much more innocent. I wrote, Anthony Perkins is really cute and psycho.
I almost put that too. A realization that he's actually a nice guy. He was fun. He had a personality.
He probably would have murdered me.
He probably would have murdered me too.
He would have murdered me because I would have been like, I like him.
He was joking around.
He's cute. He has a sense of humor. He likes his mom. There's no harm in that.
Right.
He collects taxidermied animals. That's fine. He's super cute.
But he was really had a nice person. Remember he made a joke about something about tell your friends about our hotel. It was some sort of joke. But I'm like, the fact that you and I were like, he's cute and he's fun and he's nice and not a crazy psycho.
Yeah. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a big one, Christina.
Yes.
Last year I remember how this went down.
I feel like we've talked a lot about this during the year. Save this one up for our Roomie Awards.
All right, Christina. Worst performance by an A-lister. Christina's award goes to Macaulay Culkin and The Good Son. Christina, why don't you open mine? You don't even have to do the drum roll.
Oh my gosh, no. Macaulay Culkin, we finally got a match! Yeah, I was actually almost didn't put it because I'm like, was he an A-lister? But yes, of course he was.
That's what I thought too. I was like, well, he was an A-lister then.
But I couldn't put any other because he was just so bad.
And it feels bad going after a kid, but he's awful in that movie.
He's terrible.
Even worse now. Wouldn't watch it now. I will say, I wrote, he's about as scary as a glass of oat milk.
Yeah.
I said he's not helped at all because his dialogue feels like it was written by the Joker.
It was
unrealistic. So unrealistic.
The way he's acting and it was a terrible performance.
Yes, terrible. But you have a runner-up.
I do have a runner-up.
And I want to hear your side of things. Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Liaison. Yeah. She was nominated for an Oscar for that.
I just did not agree with that. I thought her performance was quite terrible.
Okay.
Was a lot of her character was bad, but and I love Michelle Pfeiffer. Yes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Frankie and Johnny.
That could be part of it because I was disappointed about that, about her performance. But she didn't know what to do with herself. She went from 0 to 1,000 in about 2.5 seconds. She was just nervous all the time, but too over the top nervous. Mm-hmm. I just didn't care for it at all. And then I think maybe part of it was that Glenn Close did such an amazing performance.
Yeah.
So you go from Michelle's scene to Glenn's scene to Michelle's scene, and you're just like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I struggled with her post-coital moments. Remember?
Yes.
She's
oh my God. And she was so emotional.
And she lost her accent in those moments.
Yes.
It's not a great performance. And everyone knows I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. It's a big one. It's the big one. One of the biggest awards we give out.
Yeah.
Unfunniest Comedy. Christina's award goes to... Holy shit. Uh-oh. I'm shocked. Ace Ventura, episode 133. Christina, do tell.
Ace Ventura, to me, was not funny. From the second he walked onto the scene. That, even just walking up the sidewalk, I was done with him.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't find him funny. I obviously didn't age well either with the reveal at the end. That was I almost didn't age well on that one as well. But I just didn't find anything about him funny, and I didn't like the fact that people weren't reacting to him.
We talked about that.
Yeah. Yep. There's so much about it. It was just oh my God, when is this movie going to be over? This is not funny.
Yeah. I thought there were some real moments with Jim Carrey that were very inspired, but I really hated the transgender twist. I think that was really cheap and very transphobic. And then of course but that I agree with you a lot on the fact that no one's reacting to him in a way other than Sean Young's character, really.
Right.
Like in some of the bits go on too long, but I think there's some where it's like Jim Carrey's just in his element, and I did enjoy it quite a bit more than you. But we have the same runner-up. I didn't write my runner-up down, but we have the same runner-up. Three Amigos. Episode 121.
Yeah, I think that was just a disappointment in general. Like, I was expecting a lot more, and then the fact that I'm, like, watching it, I'm like, this really isn't funny.
It was a Western.
Yeah.
I think they forgot to make it funny.
And remember how, like, it was so much violence in it?
Yeah, it was super weird.
It was a weird thing to have, and I remember you making, like, really good points about it. It would have been so much better if it was almost like a Schitt's Creek vibe, where it's like a fish out of water.
Yes.
And, like, asking for...
make hair and makeup or something.
Hair and
makeup,
the
stunt doubles. Oh yeah, stunt doubles.
Stunt doubles, things like that. I think just even having that conversation made it more unfunny for me, because it could have been so much funnier. I mean, there were a couple of moments that were okay, but all in all, I just didn't think it was funny.
Oh man!
And let's hear what Brian has
You'll
to
appreciate
say
it.
about this. Let's see. Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, this
Weekend at Bernie's, yeah.
Honestly, I probably could have put Weekend at Bernie's on almost all of the categories, to be honest. All of the negative categories. Like the waste of time, midlife, I keep saying
middle-aged lens.
Middle-aged lens, and Unfunniest. It could have been number one in all of those for me.
My feeling is that Terry Kaiser, who played Bernie, had like the best deal of all, because he didn't have to say this terrible script. All he had to do was die. And like, this movie is so painfully unfunny, and the setups are so long.
Yes.
Oh my god, nothing works. And the 80s, it's like the worst of the 80s look, like that, like the neonish like stuff, and then and at your point, the way they're dressed on a hut tar roof.
Oh my god, the long sleeves.
The long sleeves. And
so stupid.
And miscast Andrew McCarthy. It's just consistently unfunny.
Consistently. He was almost worst performance by an A-lister as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this Weekend at Bernie's came up on almost every single one. I'm like, I could easily put them. Yeah.
I'm Tawny. I'm horny.
Yeah. Oh
my God in heaven, Jesus,
God, who wrote
me.
These words?
But now.
Oh my God! Here's the biggest one of all.
So exciting! So this is the biggest award of the night.
Yes.
Most nostalgic revisit. This is why we do it, kids. This is why we do it. Christina's award. Most nostalgic revisit goes to Good Times.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Good Times.
Episode 113. Christina, do tell.
Good Times to me was everything I had hoped it to be on the revisit, because I've been wanting to do Good Times for a long time, and we finally did it. And then sometimes, you know how it is, like the one day at a time, right? Mm-hmm. You get kind of worked up and excited and everything else. And so when I watched it, I mean, there were a couple of criticisms about like Michael, I think, in general. Yeah. But I think just revisiting Flo and James and even Jimmy Walker.
Oh, yeah.
And, just the Penny storylines, Winona, all of these beautiful characters. Yes. The storylines were so great. Like, every episode was like a very special episode. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of revisiting Facts of Life, and how like they just all worked really well together, and it did not disappoint. It was so nice to go back there. Yeah. And it was also pretty respectful, considering, like race relations and things like that. It was respectful, and I felt it was a great revisit. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good pick. And your runner-up is Charlotte's Web. Yeah, Charlotte's Web. Episode 157. I just, you know what, when I was watching it and hearing the music and singing and, all that kind of stuff, the Templeton and all that kind of, like, we, of course, had a different view as adults going in at it, but it's still, like, some of the scenes, like the bath scene and things like that was all still, like, really nostalgic for me. And just remembering to sitting on my living room floor watching TV and watching this with my family and stuff was really cool. Very, very good. Great, two great choices. Thank you very much. Good Times is a great choice. All right, so we didn't. Your big one. We didn't match. I'll just say that because last year we matched. Yes, this year we did not. Yeah. All right, here's your big one. It's going to be an extra long drum roll. Okay. Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal, I'm telling you.
Episode 124.
As much as I didn't like the stammering, and there was a lot of stammering.
There was so much stammering, you're right.
I fell in love all over again, and I'm telling you, from
nice.
Vaughn to Shepard's music to John Cage, who was actually kind of a weaker link the first time around for me, and now I loved him even more.
He was like my favorite character. He was literally my favorite character.
And that is a huge new realization for me. And so it's like, and I'm telling you, and even after that, I went back and watched a couple more episodes, and I think and then sometimes I would just let it play, and I'm like, I think for me at a time in my life when I was freshly out of the closet to everyone,
yes.
and include, and also just being more comfortable with myself, and seeing this this character navigate very nervously a lot of different things it was just kind of a nice balance for me, and I just loved it. I loved the sort of like the heart on the sleeve of it all, because you don't really see television characters talking so openly and honestly of how insecure they feel.
Yes.
And I think when you come out of the closet, and of course Ally McBeal is not a gay show, but I think when you come out of the closet, even though you feel like I've passed this major milestone, not everything clicks into place.
Right.
So you're constantly judging yourself and questioning your actions. And should I have been so open about my feelings? Where Ally McBeal is like, everyone talks about their feelings.
Right.
And that's pretty rare. And I think to revisit that was a super nostalgic moment for me. Now, I do have a runner-up.
What's your runner-up?
My runner-up was Working Girl. I don't know why. And I think when I watched Working Girl for the podcast, it was like seeing all these amazing actors so young. Alec Baldwin, Melanie Griffith-Sigourney, and Harrison and Joan Cusack. And just how innocent it was.
Yeah.
It's because it's really written like a very old-fashioned comedy, like Mistaken Identities and all this kind of stuff. But I just love how I felt watching it. It reminded me of being younger and going to the movies. Because I saw it in the movies. Yeah.
Well, I remember in a different way, I felt nostalgic because it reminded me of when I was working in Boston.
Right.
And,
yeah.
Doing that whole time of my life, and I was very nostalgic feeling while I was watching that.
Yeah.
But those are great choices.
And funny, Ally McBeal worked in Boston, so it's full circle.
It's all full circle.
So yay, the Roomies.
Oh my God, the Roomie Awards comes to a close.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And what an amazing year we had.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
Christina, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you for all you do. We have a few weeks off, and we should be well rested. We'll come back on September 6th.
Yeah. It's a Tuesday. It's always a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Yeah. Email us if you would like a sticker.
Yeah.
Our new stickers, oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go to patreon.com/oldroommates, you can figure out if you're a Brian or a Christina in our brand new BuzzFeed quiz. I keep feeling like I'm going to say buzzkill. And that's why I'm hesitating. But it should be, it's up there, it's fun, and and we'll see you September 6th for the Breakfast Club.
And really quick, and Patreoners, there will still be content going up.
Yes.
Yeah, we're taking a pause from the podcast, not from Patreon, so just, keep your eyes peeled on that. And thank you.
And that's it for this episode of Old Roommates. Thank you for listening. For bonus content, please visit us at patreon.com/oldroommates.
And follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, @oldroommates. Thanks for listening. Until next time.